body was vibrating. I couldn't see, and like my heart rate was 152. I was like, am I going to have a heart attack?
I know you've been very lucky to be right in amongst all the action. You spent some time in the garages during supercar stations. What was that like for you?
That was really cool as well, even the access from there. They're like, yeah, just come in, take a seat. If you want to go a little bit closer, you can. And I was like, wow, I feel really special. It's just so much fun.
We're up here in the corporate suite. We've got a beautiful view of the front straight, the grandstand. You can see the final corner. Where are you going to watch all the action this afternoon?
I think right here. I'll be just one level down maybe, or maybe up here because it's nice. You can see everything. And then I like watching on the last corner as well. That's a really good spot.
There's plenty of action. Thank you so much for joining us here this week, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. It is time for the fan favourite, Matt Nolte, the Stadium Super Trucks.
Thanks, Ree. Maybe we get Amy into one of these as a passenger to cap off her weekend here at the Velo Adelaide 500. And the Boost Mobile Super Trucks are on their way down towards turn number 8 for the first time. Their second race of the weekend and final race of the 2024 series, with Rob Cowie leading from Sean Richardson, and Rob White & Co. with the overall points inverted for this final race. Robbie Gordon topped the timesheets in yesterday's race and sitting back in 8th position, while Mad Max Gordon ahead of him on the left-hand side. We're side-by-side, Ben Bish, as I work you into the commentary here. A clean affair in yesterday's race. Get the feeling that might change today.
Yeah.
There it is. Oh, right on cue.
You've just got an ability, haven't you?
22 years in the making, my friend.
So that's on the approach down into turn 14 now. That's the toughest of all of the ramps to be able to negotiate now, is hip and shoulder.
Sean Richardson.
Yeah. Nice and aggressive as he will lead into the second lap as he takes over that top spot from Rob Cowie. Cowie, who suffered some brake issues in that first run this morning, but Richardson is absolutely on a tear and full of confidence in the process. Cowie now under fire. Shay Davies, who's just got so much confidence despite what happened a couple of days ago.
Those brake issues you talk about were the driver's foot, more than it is the truck, up through the right-hander at Wakefield Street. There is the hardcore entry of Rob White about to make the move. So this is what happened. We saw an in-car from Matt Brabham's perspective. Trav Milburn, he got the wheel. You see, Brab just held back. That was all on his own from the TRG transport car. And for Brabs, he had nowhere to go until the TRG truck backed out of the way.
Oh, Trav will be hating that, because the win for the overall weekend was so special to him. He came into this last race on 11 points. It's 12 to get a win. So mathematically, if everything went his way, it didn't go the other way of Brabham and Robbie Gordon, then there's every possibility he could have been up on the podium, but that may be under pressure. Speaking of under pressure, Shay Davies now gets under as we go into the Decathlon hairpin, turn number 9.
White just ahead. Let the cars lurch through that left-hand. It was a series of left-hand corners from the Repco wall cam. And back up to finish another lap. So Shay Davies, can't say enough about this guy's turnaround from that big crash in practice on Thursday. Would be great to just cap the weekend off with a win aboard the Codefish Studios. Entry contact here at the hairpin between White and Rob Cowie. The hardcore number 11 makes the move. It wasn't elegant, but it was effective.
There's been a lot of change in position already. And as we come through the centre chicane and start to square up for some of the longer straights, it's amazing how you wouldn't expect it from these sort of things, because they're so rugged. You don't think about things like slipstream when it comes to off-road trucks. But talking to Robbie Gordon, he said, man, the drag and the ability to get a bit of a run.
Big hole in the air on that. Straight down towards turn number 8. Really opens up a passing opportunity. Incidentally, yesterday's competition caution area has been moved to that braking zone to turn 8 today. So 2.5 laps will slow the field down. Check out some more replays. And that's been the standard for the weekend. The right front locking up as all that weight moves to the opposite side of the vehicle. And White flashing with Rob Cowie. The hardcore 11 on the sign event truck. It was Davies locking up, and then White went side by side across the ramp. It's like Cowie just shut the door.
One of the reasons you see them locking up the fronts there in that particular, you don't see that in any of the other ramps, but even if that ramp wasn't there, they'd already be starting to anchor before they come into turn 14. Hence the reason the car's not necessarily going to be square. And so it's a shocker of a place for the ramp, but we love it, of course.
Strategically placed, not just dumped in any random positions.
Did you have any say in it?
No, I wish I did. There's a couple of places I'd love to put them in, but I don't know if it'll be acceptable. As they slow up their first competition caution, part of the series, now with our bigger fields that allow the drivers that didn't have the best of starts or were caught up in incidents to catch up. And what a sad sight that is. The SCT Logistics Camaro and that heavy crash, Jackson Evans in qualifying. The team working away down there at Brad Jones Racing. Turn 8 has eaten a lot of cars over the last 22 years. And Jackson, unfortunately, adds his name to the list of cars that have been bitten. As they come out to start, part 2 of the Boost Mobile Super Trucks. This camera shot here when they fly over and back to green flag racing with the crowd still starting to build here on a beautiful day. It's much cooler than yesterday. Ideal conditions for the fans, the drivers, and our hard-working officials that have been busy since Thursday morning. Up to Wakefield Street we go with Shay Davies out in front. Richardson, and here comes young Mad Max Gordon in the Boost Mobile entry. Richardson makes the move. Door is open for a moment from Davies. Gordon side by side with Rob White.
Just looking at the attitude of the 16-year-olds who is just plaguing and now tries on the inside very successfully on the inside of Richardson. That was quite impressive.
Beautiful livery too on the Gordon, the Max Gordon car. Coming down the hill to Davies landing on the front. Brabham behind Rob White, charging down towards the turn 8 sweeper, which brings you off Bartels Road and onto the Kettle Terrace. Halfway down, which would have been the old part of the Grand Prix circuit. And down to turn number 9. Richardson, Davies on the inside. Max looking for a switchback, and Robbie Gordon suddenly in that as well. Father and son, side by side. Back into the parklands we go.
Contact between the two Gordons as well, as there is no little, I guess, advantage given from Dad down to Son as we ride on board with Son. You'll notice now they just roll off the gas just about here. That makes the entry into the ramp a little bit difficult. Then they've got to get back on the gas again, and not too hard because you get a nudge, and that's what happens. So Robbie Gordon gets a tag from Matt Brabham. The VP Racing Fuels truck straight back on the gas and may have a little bit more momentum as they head down the straight again.
Stack up the replays again. Davies, Richardson, Gordon, they're all packed tightly here, and wow, grabs into Max Gordon. Giving the teenager a big welcome to SST here at Adelaide.
Keep your eyes on Rob White. He's the big beneficiary here with that. Gets 2 spots as a result.
Good pickup.
Nice for him. So he steps up into 3rd as a result of that. Because they're so spongy, these things, that didn't look anywhere near as violent.
No.
If that was more on a race car that was closer to the ground, that would have been a really, really obvious heavy shunt.
It's the second time that corner's been awkward there for Brabham. As the field make their way down towards turn number 8. Once again, with Shay Davies. Still down towards turn number 9. So first 3 closing in. There's the door open. Easy for Robbie Gordon to go up into 2nd place now. Richardson drops back into 3rd. With one more competition caution still to come.
Done extremely well to be up there, Richo. That's impressive. A guy who's done a fair bit of stunt work. Oh, wow.
Close for Cowie on the tyre wall. So 2 battle packs. And Cowie letting these 2 go on by. He doesn't want to be involved in this little square up maybe coming. Boost Mobile 77, Max Gordon, 3-time winner in the Stadium Super Truck Series. 2 of them coming at Long Beach and 2 of them beating his dad in this series, who chalked up his 31st career win yesterday in the series that started back in 2013 at the University of Phoenix. Up Wakefield Street. It's a cool angle, seeing the attitude of these super trucks as we go back to the leaders. Davies and Gordon. This will be a good little final segment coming. Gordon, who traditionally will stay at the back of the field for the first part of the race, and then all of a sudden, surprise, he's there. Here's Max Gordon coming out of Hunt Street. So coming down Bartels Road, should be expecting to see the second caution, and there's the yellow coming up now to slow the field for the final chapter of this race. And while they cool their jets on their way down to Kettleville Terrace, let's go back to Rihanna in pit lane.
Yeah, thanks, Noel. So unfortunately, we saw those really, really horrible scenes just earlier in qualifying. Jackson Evans, I'm so glad that I'm able to talk to you now. Just tell me how you're feeling.
Yeah, obviously feeling a little bit shaken up after that. You know, never nice to be the one that ends up in the fence, especially here at turn 8. But yeah, thankfully I'm okay. A little bit winded, but yeah, otherwise happy to walk away from that one.
Just walk us through the incident.
Yeah, look, obviously qualifying, so we're putting everything on the line, and I felt like I didn't turn in super early, maybe a little bit in the end, and I just caught the inside fence, which put me into the outside fence, and you know, from there on you're a passenger, so it just felt like I was ping-ponging off the walls down the back straight.
The boys and girls are going to work on this car at the moment. They're absolutely determined to do everything they possibly can, if it's possible, to get it repaired.
Yeah, look, I think I've got the best team in pit lane when it comes to repairing cars, and you know, they'll put their heart and souls into getting it back out on track, and as long as I'm feeling okay, we'll be out there racing this afternoon.
Thanks for that, Jackson. Rest up.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rihanna, down there with Jackson Evans, and they will try right up to the very last second, maybe get him out from pit lane. Jackson Evans and Brad Jones Racing, SCT chalking up 50 years this year. They've decided to keep that livery for the remainder of the season. Grandstand continuing to fill up here with the final segment in the second and final race of the weekend. Boost Mobile Super Trucks back at Adelaide for the first time since 2020. And the man that won that race is leading this one in 2024.
He's the guy who started the highlight reel from the weekends. And for him to bounce back like this is absolutely outstanding. Gold Coast Shay Davies, hard on the anchors with the series owner right on his tail. Flirts with the idea of tagging him just to unsettle him. Speaking of unsettled, Matty Brabham didn't get out of that exit particularly tidily. He'll be pushing hard because we came into this with Brabham second in points. There's 12 points up for grabs for the win here. And that guy sitting in the second spot looks like he can take 11 of those and secure the weekend. So Robbie Gordon just sitting in behind Shay Davies now. So head up, straight over the ramps at full noise.
That's a good point you raise. If Brabham wants to go, he needs to get going now. He's a long way back than usual. Gordon challenging for the lead here. They're side by side. That's a bit cheeky. Davies gave him the room, but this will bring the field in, washing off all that speed. Will bring Richardson, Max Gordon, Rob White and Matt Brabham into it. 6 of them queued up with 2 laps to go at the end of this.
I really don't think Robbie expected that Shay would hang tough on the outside like that. That was a gutsy move. Speaking of which, Brabham takes another scalp, and that gives him another point if he can stay in that order. So we come up to, as we've mentioned a few times, the toughest ramp to negotiate. See the big lockups. Of course, we hit in mid-air.
What a shot.
Shay Davies is completely unintimidated by Robbie Gordon. I love that.
It's that orange livery that's meant to scare the opponents around him. So Gordon to the lead. Davies do all the chasing. Watch these two on the way up. A mid-air kiss. Just like that.
Love
into the hairpin.
What you notice, of course, it's almost like that.
Oh, Richardson. Richardson on his side. And you know what? He might just land or not. He could have just got going on that one. But on his side is the Dasmac Road Rage Industries entry of Sean Richardson, who was in the top 3. We caught the end of that happening up Wakefield Street. Steering wheel has come out, driver code for. He's pretty upset at what's just happened. And on his own.
Oh. Wow. So instead of loading up the right rear, it just loaded up the whole right side of the car, which you don't often see that.
No, I haven't seen one like that happen before. Here it is from Brabham, and there it is, just scratching away at the bitumen, the asphalt here. He was almost lucky for that to come back up the track and go on all 4 wheels and drive away. That would have been a huge highlights clip, but
And it would have been a massive surprise to him because they just don't usually do that, right? You can see that big whack on the left-hand side, which is where the driver is.
We've seen some bizarre ones this weekend in the Boost Mobile Super Trucks, and now Sean Richardson about to climb out with our recovery crew on the job once again, along with the support from the Adelaide 500 volunteer officials that have been here since Thursday morning. And the 56-year-old, UK-born, Aussie-based, part-timer in the US climbs out, no doubt to the applause of fans in that section. And there it is. He'd be right at home at the beach of the Bahamas, wouldn't he?
Absolutely, until you hear him talk. He's got that strong Lincolnshire accent, but a guy who's spent some time not just driving and doing stunts with Top Gear in the UK and Australia, but builds props for the show as well. So he knows how to get out there and on the ragged edge, but that is just that little bit too far. And like they say, you never know your limits until you cross them, right?
His 18th start here today. Here it is once again, the third truck in shot. And just, come in and lost the balance of the road rage. And lucky for Brabham, he was moving to the left very quick. And Rob White going, I hope he stays where he is. I hope he stays where he is. And did.
Roll. Good job,
second roll. Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting too, though. You see the way that the underside of the truck on that other shot, the way that there was just a jolt when it went past the point of no return. That was quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on that and see the way that the diff just sort of jolted a little bit.
If I know Robbie Gordon enough, he's going to put this on two wheels, and does. In the Speed Energy Continental Tyres team. Both he and Matty Brabham almost did a full lap at Detroit many years ago on two wheels, and at Portland later in the year. The checkered flag is going to greet this field with the incident up there at turn 4. So Gordon will cruise to the line here and pick up back-to-back victories to the applause of the crowd. Not the way we wanted to finish the Boost Mobile Super Trucks. Shay Davies denied victory. He'll be home for second. Max Gordon third. Matt Brabham fourth. Give Gordon the overall for the weekend. And will place Brabham in second place overall. Shay Davies will be alongside him on our order. Robbie Gordon from the back of the field after securing maximum points over the last 2 days. Got to the front when it counted. Sadly going one lap short in that third segment. But it is Gordon with a slow finish at the end there ahead of Shay Davies, Max Gordon and Rob White, the top four with Rob Cowie. Sean Richardson will be noted for sixth. I mean, he might be going back to the previous lap on that one with Matt Brabham and Trav Milburn in the TRG 25 machine. Noted down in 8th position, with Matt Mingo obviously not starting this weekend's event after the crash there on Thursday. So Gordon secures back-to-back wins here at Adelaide and wraps up the 2024 series. Another one to add to the trophy cabinet back in California. Great to have them back in Australia as part of this weekend's Velo Adelaide 500, and plenty more still to come here as we build up to the grand final race of the Repco Supercars Championship.
That's coming up a little later today, Matt, but we're counting down to the top 10 shootout, which is not too far away here